Good evening, and a very, very warm welcome to all the ladies who are here this evening, and a big round of applause for the men who have joined the show. So, for the men who are there, thank you for joining us this evening. March 8th is celebrated as International Women's Day, a day when one acknowledges, appreciates, and applauds the achievement made by women. But many of us ask this question: why just one day? Women are switching between roles, switching between being a different person every moment of the day. Sometimes we are mothers, sometimes we are daughters, sometimes we are cooks, sometimes we are nannies. So we don't just have one role which has been assigned to us. We switch between roles. And at the same time, we find time to have fun, spread happiness, and also gossip. I think that is what keeps us all together, which brings us happiness. I didn't mean gossip, I meant, looking after each other. And that is what we are celebrating today. We are celebrating that sisterhood today because all of us every day do different things. For me, Women's Day is a day when we acknowledge and thank the young, the old, the strong, the fragile, all the women who are part of our lives. And today we have a very diverse group of ladies who have come here to share their story with us. And diversity is the flavor of life. And because there is diversity, all these people make us whole. They are, they give us the strength. They are these wonder women who make us whole. And we are going to talk to them, we are going to listen to them, we are going to understand which part of our lives they reflect. Our first speaker this evening is Renuka Prasad. I will just like to introduce her. Renuka ji, good evening and welcome to the show this evening. Just bear with me a minute because since I am admitting people in as well, because my co-host is missing this evening because it's a women's program. So I'm trying to do two things at the same time, but let me just say 1 second. Right. Renuka ji,
yeah,
a very, very warm welcome. And we are going to start the Women's Day special with you. If I could say a few words about you, Renuka Prasad is the Honorary Secretary of the Indian Cancer Society, Delhi. She has attended a number of seminars, workshops, and forums, both in India and abroad. She was the director of the Cancer Sahyog and founder director, Prashanti, the Healing and the Rehab Center for Cancer Patients. Renuka ji was the coordinator of the Army Wives Welfare Association when General Prasad was in the army. She also helped set up Prerna, the emotional support group at R&R Hospital in Delhi. She's an alumni of the Lady Shri Ram College. Welcome, Renuka ji. And over to you. I mean, you have done so many different things. Please share with us some of it so that...
Just leave it there. I think that's more than enough.
No, so that we can get inspired by, what you have done, and maybe in some small way we can also help in what you're doing.
Definitely, that I will 100% agree, and that would be my appeal at the end of what I have to say, basically speaking, because this is a fight which I don't do alone. It has to be a collective fight by all of us put together.
Right.
Now, can you just close the door, please, for me? Now, what is basically very important is that we're talking on Women's Day. And for the women, we are playing so many roles, all put together into one. You know, you're the mother, you're the first and foremost, you are the daughter, and then you become the daughter-in-law, and there you get the wife. Oh, daughter-in-law se pehle, there's the wife. That wife comes in, and then thereafter comes in, you know, the chronological order, the kids, and my God, it's a whole gambit that you're playing. And looking at each role and giving importance to each and every one. Lo behold, if you ignore the husband while the children are there, because then you're told, oh, you're ignoring me. They also need to be pepped up a lot. So it is a multi-fairest sort of approach that the woman has to face and live with and carry on with it with a smile on her face. There should never be
Absolutely.
that, you know, think khundak aa rahi hai mere ko, yeah, I'm depressed, I can't do a thing. Oh, we can jolly well do everything that we are asked to do. Don't you all agree on that? I'm sure
Absolutely.
you all do. So this is how my life was also carrying along, you know. And it was just that when the children were here, my husband was away. So one coped with those little things that kept on, you know, being a separated wife, which many of the army wives who are here, or you have brothers and sisters, you know, parents or somebody from the army would realize what it's like to bring up the children all on your own with the grandparents. Because I lived with my in-laws practically all my life. And I used to laugh and tell my mother-in-law that when you ever matched horoscopes, not that they were matched, you must have matched mine with yours rather than with your son. Because I think we both pull along so famously, and it can be only because the horoscopes matched. But notwithstanding that, that's how life just continued.
Mhm.
Children grew up, you did their schooling, the college started, and then they went out and they were, you know, they had flown away. And at the end of the day, you were just the two of you left together to hold each other's hands. And, you know, suddenly life assumed a totally different role altogether,
Yeah.
because now you started, you know, in a different manner. Those days were over when the husband came from the field area and you both could never agree on the speed of the fan also. You know, if he wanted it only at that full speed, well, you were used to just that one slow speed that chuk 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 the fan is going. But that's the way it was. But now you decided, no, it's a question of give and take, because now fortunately after so many years we are going to be living together. And that was the first time that we actually got a peace posting in Jodhpur. So life started. It was wonderful being a senior officer's wife. So much of adulation given to you. You know, I think it was just going into the head and everything was very hunky dory. My son had finished his MSc. He had got himself a job. My daughter was now in college. I mean, life was as perfect as it could be till God said, I think you played it pretty good right now. So let's give you a little jolt, you know. And that is when the resilience really came into being, to be
Mhm.
diagnosed with breast cancer. And that too, just out of the blue. You know, it was one of those things. We had been playing Holi. And, you know, after Holi, the way the color is thrown all over and you're trying to rub and, you know, get rid of that color, especially that awful pink and purpley color, which
Mhm.
refuses to go. So while rubbing the body a little deep, I found, oh, there's a stupid knot I can see somewhere. And at that moment, I just willed it away. I said, forget it. Kuch nahi hai. I think it was my imagination.
Mm.
Another week, 10 days later, you know, I reluctantly went and felt it. It was now becoming a little bigger. So alarm bells started ringing because fortunately I knew about the telltale signs of cancer, which I think every woman who's sitting here knows. That lump is one of the ones that everybody knows about. But
Right.
other signs like a puckered skin or a nipple lactating, you know, coming out after a later stage in life, or a puckered nipple or an inverted nipple, all these are the other telltale signs. But yes, for me, it was that lump that cast the shadow. One thing led to another, and there was the whole breast removed. And let me tell you, the most shocking part was seeing that scar. That scar was something that really hit me because it was the whole breast gone. And like I've just told you, I'd been riding real high. And now it meant that you're going to be just confined to the house. You're not going to do anything. My social life was going to be totally at a zero. And I think that is what made me sad more than anything else. Also the fact that, okay, now I'm, a body part, a most essential body part of yours has been taken away. And that is a real rude shock. Now, it took me about 2, 3 days to come to terms with it. But, like anyone else, like again, I'll repeat, being a woman, one felt that if I'm going to be depressed, everybody around me in the house will be depressed. The mood will be really somber. So I have to lift my spirits, be, play along, and everybody will play along with me. And that's how it was. And thereafter, there was really no looking back. And now I can recollect what I had once read about Eleanor Roosevelt, the US president's wife who also had breast cancer. She had said that, you're there is only courage, strength, and confidence which you get if you look at fear in the face. Don't run away from it. Look at it in the face. And that was what I imbibed. I said, let me just look it and take it bang on. There's no point in, um, being pussyfooting about the whole thing. Let me just take it on. And that's how it started. My fight and my tryst with cancer and becoming a totally different person altogether. Once I had learned that there is something called a prosthesis and bras, special ones, oh, and my body image would be fine, there was no looking back. There was really no looking back. I took each day as it came. Fortunately, my son came down to Delhi those days to see me and try and take care of me. Meanwhile, we had a girl in mind whom we were thinking of. She arrived on the scene, and my son and she met, and the romance started, and he proposed, and he went away back to London. So that kept me really going, and then they got married after about 6 months. My chemotherapy was still going on. And chemo is the most lethal thing, the most horrible thing that can ever happen. And I was very happy to hear doctors say yesterday in a webinar, which I was in, that chemotherapy, they're trying to do away with, because it really negates, it has so much of negative effects which continue all along your life. You can never be rid of it. And one of the latest that I discovered, and I think Gunita will stand by me when I say this, I've been having a lot of problem with my teeth. And my dentist tells me that it is the dentine that becomes, less or whatever it is, which is why you start getting a lot of dental issues after you've been through cancer. Is that true? Well, this is what my dentist said. So I said, chalo, ये भी सही, ये भी देख लेंगे, osteoporosis तो है ही, arthritis है ही, diabetes भी हो गई. So chalte chale ja rahe hain, and one is getting along. And this is the way that one little fear comes and you fight it and you just live with it. And then you realize also, sort of what others have said. The Dalai Lama said the same thing, that there are only 2 days in your life. One was yesterday and the other is tomorrow. It is today that you have to look at. Today is the day which you have to be positive. Today is the day when you have to be alive. So I suppose one learns with experience, but here I'm just telling you all these things because in case any of you ever, God forbid, do land up in any soup, it doesn't have to be cancer. It could be anything, anything. But yeah, the small things go away in no time. Such things remain with you for a longer period of time. But that's about all. And of course, like Sanjana said, I would love to get you all involved with my work because we look at giving awareness talks wherever we can to try and make people aware. Because, if people are aware, then it's caught in the first stages. And let me tell you, my story started 23 years back. So even at that time, there was an awareness within me because one of my teachers, my colleagues in the school had been diagnosed with breast cancer. And we were quite aware of the, what are the telltale signs. So these kind of things, we shouldn't just, throw them out that, okay, there's an awareness talk, let's forget it. No, let's know more. And because after all, a person who knows more is equipped to understand more and fight whatever is the problem more. It can be any disease. It can be, cancer is, I'm talking about because I've been through it, but there are so many other things that come up, which challenge you at all times. So it's not only with you, it could be with your parents, it could be with your children, it could be with your husband. So just try and look at the brighter side of life. And let me tell you, every day is not a damn squib. Some days definitely are, but that's how life is, the ups and downs, highs and lows. Don't you all think so? At least I am personally with that opinion that
Hmm.
today is a bad day, tomorrow will be a better day, and the next day will be even better. So it's only time. Give yourself time. Don't be in a rush. Just abide and live the way you should actually live. Make these ground rules. That's it. Thank you, Sanjana, so much.
I think I'm at loss of words. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. I think many of us who fear, the unknown, once they've heard what you have to say, and the way you have handled this this disease and overcome it, fingers crossed. I mean, it's exemplary and inspiring. um, I mean, I think a saying which is, there is nothing stronger than a broken woman who has rebuilt herself, is so apt for you. I mean, sitting here looking at you, one would never have thought that you have been through, a disease like cancer. And,
God is kind.
you are doing so much to help others who are suffering as well. So truly, I mean, it's incredible how you have handled a very difficult situation, and you have come out a stronger person, and you are showing the way to so many other people. I think that is what is
I
the
hope.
most
I
beautiful
sincerely hope people
beautiful
pick
part
it up
of
because that is the
your
basic
story.
thing. That
Yeah,
is a basic thing. Like Mother Teresa also says, that I alone cannot change the world. I cannot change it. I can
right,
only cause a ripple,
right.
and the rest is up to everybody else to take on.
Yeah.
So
and
that's it.
and your adversity has made you, help others in a similar situation. So, I mean, what can be better than that? Thank you very much for
I,
sharing your experience and your story with us, and for inspiring us. Like I said, amongst all of us, we have these little wonder women locked away. And what we have as speakers today reflect that. So you reflect that inspiring person,
thank you so much,
inside
Sanjana.
amongst
Let's leave it
all
and move
of
on.
us.
Let's
Right.
leave it and move
Our
on.
next speaker, let's we is Seema Sharma. Let me just 1 second put the spotlight on her. Right. Hi, Seema. Welcome to Zoom In 48, our virtual get together. I forgot to say that in the beginning, but nevertheless, welcome. Um,
Hi.
Seema, many of you will know her. She's been a teacher at DPS for a long, long time, and she's had a long and checkered career as a teacher, writing scripts for annual days, composing musicals, making puppets, creating stories for different school functions, and doing much more. She has enjoyed inculcating the love and appreciation for different languages in her students, and grooming them for public speaking, debate, and elocution. Seema is also a keen painter, a gardener, and a cook. Seema, from you, we want to understand, how was it to be a teacher during these past 6 months, or should I say, through 2020, when
Yes.
most of us were locked away at homes. Teachers were working very hard and overtime, trying to keep the kids entertained, and also, play an important role in imparting education.
Yes. Thank you, Sanjana, for the, I would say, a very flattering introduction. I don't think I deserve that much. And Renuka ji, you were awesome. Your words were so inspiring. So, yes, here I am amidst stalwarts, I would say. So, I would like to begin by saying that to my mind, to celebrate Women's Day itself is a paradox because I do not believe a woman needs any validation to be celebrated. She needs to be respected. And the respect has to be mutual, because a man and a woman, they are the yin and yang of life itself. No one is complete without the other. I mean, having said that, we also know that if we go down in histories, our ancient history, it is replete with achievers, women achievers, whether it was Maitri, Gargi, and many others who contributed to writing of Vedas. So in our society, women were always celebrated. You look at the ancient temples, look at the forms, the women's forms, the beautiful bodies. They were not conscious of displaying that form. They were proud of their bodies. They were not self-conscious. They were not hiding behind yardage as it started happening in the medieval times. And also the need for validation, to be appreciated, to be respected, or whatever. It started happening around the medieval time when patriarchy crept into the society. Very sad though. So, but if we look back in our country, women were always respected. They were always celebrated for their wisdom, for their talents, for for so many things. And through history, down history, we know it is replete with achievers who have broken the glass ceilings. Women who have broken the glass ceilings, whether it was the Rani of Jhansi, a warrior queen, or Anandibai Joshi, or Arunima Singh, Rita Faria, Kalpana Chawla. The list can go on and on. So these were women who believed in themselves, who did not need to be told that you can do it. They just knew that they could do it. And to my mind, that is what I would say. Women's Day, I don't know. I don't believe in that one particular day. Like I said, a woman needs to be respected, and the respect has to be mutual. So, yeah, so going from there, I'm here, of course, to talk about resilience, a woman's resilience. So, I will give you a small example. If we take the case of a single mother, a divorcee or a widow, whoever, and if she has children, she puts in her heart and soul her entire might in providing the child with the security, nourishment, emotional security, education, and everything. A man in a similar situation, while I'm not trying to say that men cannot be great fathers, and there are always exceptions to the rule, but most of the time men wilt under such circumstances. So that itself shows that women are made of a different metal. They are stronger. They don't need to be told that they are strong. They are stronger, and they have the capability and the capacity to take in a lot more than what people think they are. They are called the weaker sex, which again, to my mind, is something that I do not agree with. Yes, physically they may be weaker, but in all other respect, we are as good as any man can be. So I would say do not allow anyone to body shame you. Moti ho, patli ho, kali ho, gori ho, lambi ho, choti ho. It doesn't matter. The very fact that you're a woman is a blessing in itself. So don't do that. And the other thing which I have a serious objection to is when I hear people saying things like, अरे मेरी बेटी तो बेटों जैसी है, मेरी बेटी तो 10 बेटों के बराबर है. That statement itself tells you that you are somehow putting a boy at a higher pedestal than a girl. No, बेटी बेटी है, बेटा बेटा है. बेटे के अपनी क्वालिटीज हैं, बेटी की अपनी है. They complement each other. If a son wants to play with dolls, please don't stop him, encourage him. He might become a sensitive adult when he grows up. If a son wants to enter the kitchen and cook, allow him. He might be a better husband when he grows up. If a daughter wants to go and play hockey or cricket, encourage her, because as we all know in our history itself, we recognize the fact that a man and a woman, we all, whether it's a man or a woman, we have the qualities of both, the Ardhanarishwar. A woman has some hidden qualities of a man, while a man has a lot of feminine qualities. But in society, we sort of segregate it. नहीं, ये लड़के का काम नहीं है, या ये लड़की का काम नहीं है. And I think it's time to change. So please stop saying things like मेरी बेटी तो बेटों जैसी है. मेरी बेटी बेटी है और मेरा बेटा बेटा है is what I feel. So these were some of my views, and now coming to my journey as a teacher. So yes, 2020 was an unusual year, full of stress and turmoil for many. As a teacher, I had enjoyed my profession and I was going about it in the way that it was flowing. I was very happy doing the thing that I enjoyed. I loved teaching and I was happy. I was exploring various areas of my personality. I was discovering things. I didn't know that I could write music. I did. In fact, I started off as a music teacher, strangely, and I didn't know how to play the synthesizer. So I used to sit back and I used to learn while in school because I did not have a synthesizer at home. And while I was doing that, then I realized there weren't that many songs for children in the market. So I started writing and I discovered I could write. Now, those poems had to be put to music. So then I started putting them to music. So that was sort of, again, I would say a woman's resilience. I had to survive. I had to make a success of what was thrown in my direction. So I did it. And I did not do it to prove anything to anyone. It was just that I was blessed to be a woman. And as a woman, not just me, I think any woman rises to the occasion, which I did. And I was glad I had discovered new areas of my personality. I was always fascinated by the fine arts, but again, languages have always been my very close to my heart. So I took it as a mission to not just teach good English to children, but I also wanted to inculcate the love for Hindi language in the young minds, because I feel that is a subject that is slowly being relegated as क्या फर्क पड़ता है, Hindi is not so important. But to my mind, how would a child feel the pride of his Indianness when he is so disdainful about his own language? I mean, we learn German, we learn French, and we boast about it. But when it comes to Hindi, it's like, mujhe Hindi nahi aati. That used to bother me somehow. So to me, it was like a mission to create a love for Hindi amongst the young minds. And I'm very humbly, I would like to admit that I succeeded in a great way. And I am very fond of reading Hindi literature. I read Premchand, I read so many others, because जो फ्लेवर आपको अपनी भाषा में मिलता है, जो कोई भी बात कहने का तरीका आपकी अपनी भाषा में है, whether it is through मुहावरे, लोकोक्तियां, it does not come in the English language. But we have sort of got so plasticized, I would say, that we admire anything that is Western, and we admire anyone who speaks good English, but we just ignore anyone who speaks good Hindi. Why so? So that was a mission, yeah. So that was something I did. Anyway, coming back to 2020, here I was going about my job in a normal way. I had not dreamt of the storm that was going to hit me just out of the blue, but it did. And suddenly, because of the lockdown, a very computer illiterate me had to now switch gears and move to a different medium of education. I was very nervous. I was very, I would never say that I didn't have confidence in myself, but yes, I could, there was no time to be wasted because you just had to. But we did it. And I would give credit to my husband who held my hand. And like I say, a man and a woman, they're the yin and the yang. Neither is complete without the other. So respect has to be both ways. And if I say we celebrate Women's Day, I think we should also celebrate a man's day. They deserve it too. Yeah. So yeah, well, he held my hand, but I also pushed my boundaries. I pushed myself, and I was the last one to say mujhse nahi hoga. And then slowly and steadily, I found my feet. I learned the intricacies till the time came that I used to laugh. Here I was, a very, very computer illiterate person solving problems for others. And that used to really, I used to be very amused when my young colleagues would say, अरे सीमा मैम, आपने तो बहुत अच्छी तरह सीख लिया, आपने हमको समझा दिया. So I used to laugh at that. I said, see, I was the slow child of the class, but then I didn't want to remain so here I am at par with you. So it was an interesting journey. I feel blessed that I got this opportunity to teach during the lockdown amidst the pandemic, which was really not a very happy situation, but then it also opened so many windows. Here we are sitting and talking to each other thanks to the new medium because of the pandemic. So yeah, so I learned. So I grew as a person during the lockdown. I learned, and of
Do you
course, it
think?
was a
Do you think there was a bit of role reversal where your student became the teacher and you became the student? Do you think you had?
uh, not really, because the children that I was teaching are young children. They were class one students. But what I thought, what my apprehensions in the beginning were was, since we were used to physical proximity, we were used to connecting with the children physically. How will I manage it? But it happened so beautifully. It happened so beautifully. The children were amazing. They were so disciplined, and in fact, by the end, and of course, I must also tell you that I retired this February. So when I retired, we had created such a bond, such a beautiful bond, which again amazed me, because कभी सोचा नहीं था, ये लगता था जब तक फिजिकली नहीं मिलेंगे तब तक कैसे बॉन्ड बनेंगे. बट आई वाज अमेज्ड द बॉन्ड वी क्रिएटेड विद द पेरेंट्स, with the children. So yes, it was a wonderful journey. And yes, a woman's resilience, a woman's capacity and capability to overcome a challenge, I would say I made full use of that. And it was a happy year with a lot of learning, a lot of learning for myself, and then again a lot of teaching on my side through a new medium. So as a teacher, I felt happy, I felt lucky that my career ended not just as a teacher but also as a student. So that is as much as I would like to say. Thank you.
That's such a lovely way of putting it. That one is always a student because every day you learn something new.
Yes.
And I think you've said that very well in what you've just said. And I agree with you. Mutual respect. Whether it's between women or whether it is between a man and a woman, respect is something I think we all deserve, and is something which is very important in any relationship. Um, Moving on, we have a very enterprising young lady who's part of our session now. Let me put the spotlight on her. Okay. Vidya, would you like to? Yeah, she's done that. As as you know, kids are much smarter than we are, especially where technology is concerned. So Vidya is all of 14 years old, a very, very enterprising young girl studying in class 9. She loves acting, drawing, and baking. She started a small baking business, and Vidya is going to tell us more about her baking business, what what gave her the idea to set up the business, and what has she learned from running her own business at such a young age. Vidya, over to you.
Okay. So thank you for having me a part of this webinar. I would like to talk about how I started a cake business a few years ago. So I really wanted to start a business because I wanted to know what it was like to have responsibility of money that I made, and I thought it would be like a fun experience. So I decided to do cakes because everyone who's come to my house has always loved this chocolate cake that we make, and I thought it'd be fun to sell it. So I made an image and my mom sent it out to some people, and then I started selling. And when I got the money that I made from each cake, I would break it down into 5 categories. So I would have a little bit that would go to charity. I would put a little bit in my savings. Some I had for spending, and then my didi who helps me bake the cakes, I gave a little to her, and then for the cost of the ingredients. And I feel like this has been a really good experience because it's taught me a lot, and how it like how much responsibility it has to actually run a small business, and how much effort and time you have to put into it. And I really enjoyed selling the cakes, and I've done a few exhibitions as well. And in the last year, I have been experimenting with a bunch of new items like cookies, cakes, brownies. and I'm still working on them and trying to perfect them. And when I do, I will start selling those as well.
Wow, really great.
So,
Super.
I mean, what have you learned from your baking experience? Does it make you feel financially independent?
Yeah, I like
Does
the
it give you
fact.
that feeling that if your mom doesn't give you that pocket money which you want, you have your own money from which you can buy things? Is that kind of feeling something which is important for you?
Yeah, I like the fact that I can buy things on my own, because instead of always just taking like my parents' money, I started like making the money and then spending it on things I like, which makes me feel really good, because it's not just like, it's like when you buy something of your own, you just feel really good about it. So I really like that fact.
And how do your friends react to this?
So a lot of my friends have been really supportive. Yeah,
So do they order your cake?
they
Do you
do,
give
but
them
I sometimes
discount?
they usually just come over and then I make it with them, or like.
Okay, okay. And tell me, as a young person who's running your own business, what do you think have been the challenges which have come your way?
So sometimes I'll get an order and I'll either have school or I'll have a class. So it's like a little hard to like do all of that. But I do have a lot of help. My mom helps and my didi helps. So
Mhm.
it's been like,
So you find a way of managing it. But
yeah.
do you feel? I mean, the days when you can't bake your cake, do you feel it's right for you to say that I have baked it? Do you tell the person who's
Like if
ordered that?
they like if they ask, then I won't like say I made it. I'll say that
Okay,
my didi helped.
right, right, right. Okay, that's wonderful and great going Vidya. I think it's amazing that a young person is thinking about all these things. Which why do you want to give a part of your earning to a charity? Because I don't think you'll be selling your cake for that much. But then why do you want to give a part of it to charity?
So when I started it, I knew that for sure I wanted to give it to charity, because I would feel really guilty if I made the money and didn't give it. And I don't know, I really like the fact that I was helping someone else. So I was making it for myself, but like I was helping someone else in the process, which I really liked.
Okay. And do your friends also come and help sometimes when you have, say, you have to bake three, four cakes at the same time? Do your friends also chip in and help you out?
Not sometimes like we'll just do it for fun
Yeah.
and
Okay.
like that, but not.
Not otherwise. Okay. Good luck with your venture, Vidya. And we are really proud of what you're doing. And hope hope more people order cakes from you and you have a flourishing business by the time you get to university and experiment with new ingredients and new flavors of and new items of baking.
Okay,
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
thank you.
Next we have uh, Dr. Gunita Singh. Again, most of us know her, but for those who don't, I didn't know so much about you, Gunita. So I'm going to read all this which is in front of me and introduce you. One sec. Let me just. So Dr. Gunita Singh is a practicing cosmetic and laser dental surgeon. She has been doing this for the past 21 years, specializing in smile design. I love that. Smile design. Having done her MD in dental laser from Austria, she uses the latest technology and equipment for cosmetic dentistry and stitchless to bloodless and painless surgeries. Wow. I can't even begin to imagine that. Reading that makes my heart go bumpy. Gunita is the director of Dental, which has 7 other dental clinics in and around Delhi. She is a senior consultant at Gangaram Hospital. Gunita also runs a charitable dental clinic in Vasant Vihar uh, under the trust, and the name is Sardar Harvinder Singh Memorial Educational Trust. She also runs an academy to help train new aspiring dentists. Gunita, when do you get the time to do all these things together? I mean, so many things you're doing. And to top it all, you are designing smiles. I mean, how did you come by that? Are you, we can't hear you. Are you mute? I think we couldn't hear you. We can't hear you, Gunita. Can you hear us?
She has to unmute herself.
No, she's not. She is unmuted, but have you got headphones on? Okay, try again. Unmute yourself. Do you just want to sign out and log back again? Because we could hear you earlier. Yeah. So what we'll do is, while you're doing that, Poonam, we'll turn to you. Gunita, why don't you log out and log back in? We'll talk to Poonam in the meantime, and then we'll listen to you. Okay.
Yes, we can
Yeah.
do that.
Hi, Poonam. Good
Hi,
evening, and
good
welcome to
evening.
the session this evening.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Although this is really new to me, I have not been able to attend any of these Zoom sessions except for one, which I told Sanjana.
But it's wonderful that
wonderful
you're
to be
here.
here among such talented and really lovely people. And it's awesome to hear about everybody's experience. Okay.
Right. Poonam is an architectural interior designer and an entrepreneur with over 3 decades of experience.
Yes.
She describes herself as a creative and practical designer who is passionate about each of her projects.
Yes.
She is going to bring happiness and spread that happiness around. And she is going to do that by talking about colors and the vital role colors play in our homes. So, Poonam, welcome.
Thank you.
Please tell
Thank
us
you
more
so
about
much.
colors.
Yeah, so I am an architectural interior designer, and it's been like 35 or maybe more years. But when I passed out, I did an intensive 3 years course from Women's Polytechnic, and that's the time when interior designing was not that popular. In fact, there were very, very few people in this line, but the persistence and the passion made me go, and I just did not want to leave it at any stage. I got married, I had children, we were traveling, there was everything going on, but I wanted to be there. I wanted that my presence has to be there, even if it is a small one, but I wanted to be there. So I started with a lot of, I just started with barely a small little project, but slowly and gradually I built up a name for myself, and I have created a niche and done a number of projects now. I've done residences, offices, boutique hotels, farmhouses, and in and around Delhi. And my work has taken me everywhere, Jaipur, Agra, and all that. But all this is possible because I had a very strong family behind me. They were all appreciative, and they understood that I needed to be, in this line, because when you are creative and passionate about it, you don't worry about the commercials that time. You're so new, and I think even till date, I have never bothered about commercials. I'm more into as to which project I'm getting. what is the project. It has to be interesting. And I'm blessed that I have a nice clientele who really put trust in me and who have confidence in me. And my this thing to them is always, when I start a project, I always tell them that, look, this is my baby till the time I deliver it to you. So I have to take care of it. And each and every aspect is always being taken care.
Mhm.
And I have a company by the name of Antrik Designers. And there's a very interesting thing that I got this name from. Antrik in Hindi means, Antrik is a Hindi word for interior.
Oh,
So I
really?
thought, yes, Antrik,
Oh,
Antrik Saj Sajja, which is
okay.
interior decoration.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's
I picked up that name for my company, and ever since then, it has been Antrik Designers.
okay.
And just imagine, in those days, we used to slog, on the boards, doing the drawings. थोड़ी सी गलती हो जाए तो we had to redo the whole thing, or maybe scratch it or something, and then run and get those prints done. But now it's a different ball game altogether. So I was lucky that my daughter also qualified, and she was inducted in Antrik Designers, and we became tech savvy. So I also picked up the computer, I picked up the AutoCAD, and today I think I'm proud of myself. I think I've learned quite a bit. So what I would say is that in this 2020 has been a big setback year for a lot of us. And same goes for me as well, because the projects came to a standstill. The labor had gone to their villages. And, the whole thing was so uncertain. There was so much of uncertainty that you didn't know really when are we going to start and when are we going to resume work. So, but luckily, I would say that you start looking at things that you want to get back that zing in yourself, because you have been so busy with site visits and meetings and going to the market to select the marble and curtains and all that. So suddenly there is like the lull. There's nothing to do. There's nothing happening. So it was like, I would say it was a very gray year for all of us. So to get rid of this gray, I turned to painting. Like everybody else, I think a lot of people, they went for writing or gardening or cooking. So I went for painting because I used to paint at one time. So after a very long time, I picked up my brushes and paints, and yes, I think I defeated the gray. I was very excited, and again, things didn't matter that I was at home and there was nothing else to do except this. So coming to the color, what would the world be without color? Isn't it?
That's
So
true. We all
yeah,
need color in our
yes,
life.
Yeah.
we all need color, isn't it? So I would say that colors have a unique language. They speak of our persona, and they have this profound influence on our lives and have the power to change, to transform a personality or of a person, or even the interior or any project, any room of yours. Color is that important. So every home, as you all know, that we have various areas. We have the living room, the entrance area, the bedrooms, the kitchen, and each has to have its own color and its own character and own story to tell. But at the end, uh, the whole total effect in totality, our house has to give that, it has to reflect your personality, what you like. So as a professional, we are always trying to help the client make their dreams come true. Like suppose if a client is very adamant that मेरे को तो एक दीवार एक लाल बना दो, मुझे लाल रंग बहुत पसंद है. So you want to give it to him because it is his dream. So, but how I give it and how I place things against that wall is more important. So, coming back to the colors, as we all know, that colors basically are divided into two: the warm and the cool. And then they're further divided into lighter colors, darker colors, and neutral colors. So, the lighter colors, such as mm, powder blue, lilac, pink, lime green, now these are very airy and cool to the eye, and they make any space very bright and larger than life. Whereas the darker colors, such as maroons or midnight blue, or a brown or a dark teal, now these are very warm and nice deep colors, but they tend to sort of overpower the room. So we have to use them in small doses. And the neutral colors, I would say, are the grays, whites, blacks, and browns, which help us to balance the room. Is that I would say that each color has a capability of changing its character. So today, if we are talking about red, um, we take red. Now, red is a very stimulating and a vibrant color. But pink, which is a shade of red, is a very cool and a pretty color. And maroon, on the other hand, which is again derived from red, is a very dark and a warm color. So now it is very important for us. It is not enough that we just select a color for our home. It is important that we what shade we are looking at and what is that going to project.
Um, I'm
Any,
I'm I'm curious to. I mean, when I was doing some reading about International Women's Day,
yeah, yeah,
um, they say the color associated with International Women's Day is purple.
is
Why do
purple.
you think? Why do you think? They've chosen a color purple to associate with International Women's Day.
Yeah, I think because purple is a very royal color. It's a very
Okay.
dynamic color.
It's my
And
favorite color.
yes, and see again, if you are taking purple now, which shade of purple you want? Because
Right.
what kind of image you are creating, or what
Mhm.
kind of a room you are making. See, colors
Right.
are very, we are all very close knit to colors in our personal lives, in our clothing, in our houses, anything. You make a dish and you want it to look really attractive. If you have cut a
Mhm.
salad, you want the greens and the reds and the yellows to come out so that it's very attractive and you feel like eating it. So
Right.
similarly, in the room also, we are trying to we should try and make the colors like even if it is like if we choose just neutral colors. Now suppose like I do a lot of beiges and shades of beiges
Mm-hmm.
to give a little touch of color and vibrance. I pick up an orange, which is just sporadically put all over the room, and
Right.
maybe touches of gold, so it gives a very royal and a very rich look to the whole interior.
Mhm.
So similarly, like you said, that purple is a color which uh, gives us royalty and dynamics and dynamism, and it's a beautiful color, but little difficult to match up. But let me point out that 2021 is going to see a lot of lilac, a lot of lime green, which is going to be matched up with charcoal gray,
Okay.
and another color scheme which we are looking at is a bold black and white with a lot of
Oh,
fuchsia and orange thrown in.
right.
And another one which is we are working on is a deep teal with turk and a rich beige with trimmings of gold. So I think,
Wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful.
that's the
Just
way.
hearing about these color combinations,
Yes,
one feels happy. And
yes,
and you're so right, because right now, if one has if somebody, I mean, if some of the members have been to the club, they will see that the club is full of beautiful flowers of
Oh, yes.
different colors.
Oh, yes.
And if you haven't been to the club, it's really worth stepping out and
Yes.
just going and seeing the spray of colors, and you'll just feel happy, and you'll feel like your day has brightened up.
Yes.
So thank you, Poonam, for sharing the importance of colors with us.
Yes, I think it's a topic which one can really keep on talking. But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
thank you so
I
much for
think
having
perhaps
me.
we will have a longer session where you can guide us and tell
Yes.
us that
Most
what
welcome.
combination works.
I would love to do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to listen to a poetry which Kanchan Sharma, who's the librarian at the Vasant Vihar Club, is going to read for us. So, Kanchan, आप हाँ, you're there ना? अपने को unmute कीजिए. Yeah. चलो, come. I'm going to.
हेलो एवरीवन, आज की मेरी पोइट्री का टाइटल है लड़कियों की जिंदगी आसान नहीं होती। भाई की लाडली है और है हर फिक्र से अनजान, भाई की लाडली है और है हर फिक्र से अनजान, माँ का सपना और है पिता का अभिमान। पर क्या जानते हैं आप कि नन्ही सी इन परियों की एक दायरे से बाहर कभी उड़ान नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। जन्म लेते ही माँ इनकी शादी के गहने जुटाने लगती है। क्या सही है क्या गलत हर बात पर समझाने लगती है। देखो तुम लड़की हो, अपना ख्याल रखना, जमाने को बदलना मुमकिन नहीं, इसलिए कपड़ों का खास ख्याल रखना। सुनो किसी की बातों में मत आना, और कुछ भी गलत लगे तो सबसे पहले आकर मुझे बताना। जमाने के साथ चलना इन्हें बेशक सिखाया जाता है, पर साथ ही साथ एक दायरा भी समझाया जाता है। खुद की ही जन्मी दुनिया में खुद ही महफूज नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। बचपन से ही कभी रूप, कभी रंग, कभी व्यवहार को लेकर टोकी जाती है। तुम अकेले कैसे रहोगी, क्या करोगी, कह के न जाने कितने अवसरों से रोकी जाती है। कहने को लड़कों के बराबर हैं आज, पर मौका मिलते ही आंखें इन पे ही सेकी जाती हैं। कभी जन्म से, कभी हवस का शिकार बन फिर कूड़े में फेंकी जाती हैं। गलतियां कई नजरअंदाज करती हैं बेशक, गलतियां कई नजरअंदाज करती हैं बेशक, पर नजरिए से कभी ये किसी की अनजान नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। एक घर में बचपन बीते दूसरे में जीवन बिताना पड़ता है। माँ, भाई, बहन और पापा का प्यार मानो एक दिन में भुलाना पड़ता है। एक हाथ से कई रिश्ते छूटे और दूसरा हाथ कई रिश्तों के लिए बढ़ाना पड़ता है। कई बार मन मिले ना मिले, पर उम्र भर बेमन ही हर बंधन निभाना पड़ता है। किसी एक शख्स की खातिर ये अपनी पूरी जिंदगी बदल देती हैं, फिर भी इनकी उम्र भर अपनी अलग कोई पहचान नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। बात बात पर ये आंखें गीली करती हैं, बात बात पर आंखें इनकी गीली होती हैं, बेवजह बेतुकी बातों पर ये अक्सर रोती हैं। हाँ को ना और ना को हाँ कहती हैं, मुंह से कुछ कहे ना कहे पर बात सारी अपनी मनवाती हैं। बातें ये खुद की अपने तक ही रख नहीं पाती हैं, बस तुझे बता रही हूँ किसी को कहना मत, फिर कह के से फिर सबको बताती हैं। आदतों में गलतियां इनकी शुमार है बेशक, आदतों में गलतियां कई शुमार है बेशक, पर नीयत इनकी कभी बेईमान नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। साल में सैकड़ों बार इन्हें देवी बना पूजा जाता है, साल में सैकड़ों बार इन्हें देवी बना पूजा जाता है, फिर महीने के उन दिनों में न जाने क्यों अलग रखा जाता है। लड़की है, ठीक से काम न कर पाएगी, कभी बीमारी, कभी फैमिली, तो कभी कुछ और बहाना बनाएगी। भगवान का दिया हर दर्द सराखों पर जमाने तेरी ये सोच बर्दाश्त नहीं होती, और जितना सोचते हैं हम लड़कियों की जिंदगी उतनी आसान नहीं होती। थैंक यू।
वेरी गुड कंचन,
बहुत ही सुंदर कविता आपने पढ़ी।
थैंक यू मैम।
Very nice. Really wonderful.
Padma ji, would you like to say something to Kanchan?
Thank you ma'am.
No, but isn't Gunita ji going to say anything?
आप बोल लीजिए,
Yeah.
then we'll have Punita speak, because what Kanchan has said, I'm sure you will like to say a few words about that.
No, I just want to congratulate her. क्या अपने आप लिखी है कंचन?
नहीं मैम,
But what I wanted to say was that we are so lucky in Shanti Niketan. We have so many talented women. We have women who have come out with their achievements, what their resilience, what they have done. But to think of it, Women's Day is actually a celebration of women from an ordinary life. How did it start? It was, I think, in 1910 that the women in New York took out a demonstration of about 15,000 women asking for equal rights and voting rights. I think in India, we have never thought of this, that we got voting rights without even asking. The women today have voting rights and they are voters, but it was in Europe even today. I don't think that in Switzerland, a country so advanced, women are voting, have the voting rights today. So it was this struggle, this was inequality that sent sort of shivers during the spines of the women and the men that they talked about Women's Day. And it was, I think, a person, a German called Clara Zetkin or something. She was the leader of one of the socialist parties. And she put this idea that there should be a Women's Day. And that was accepted by, in the conference for about, I think, 17 countries accepted it. But it was only in 1913, remember so many years ago, that March 8 was designated as Women's Day. But what I want to say is that women, as most of them have pointed out, have a certain resilience, and they do sort of come out, they are able to sort of fight adversity, but at the same time, there are women we still have to fight. And those are the women that we have to think about, not just women as such who are amongst us. Thank God. I think we have to thank God for many things, but we have to think how we can raise the life, the standards of the women who are around us. I mean, think of the lady who is working in your house, her rights. What is she doing? Think of the person who's on the street. I see every morning go for a little walk, and the first sight that meets my eye is an old woman, quite old, and she's picking up. This is a daily chore. She's a rag picker. I look at her, I think we have to work somehow to help those women. Those are the women that need help from us, and not just, I think you are all now over there. I think we should all perhaps get together and think of how we can improve those women and their lives, because that is the important thing that it is. It's a Women's Day, not just women amongst us, but women who are around us, women who are working. We want upliftment for those women. So,
I
but
think, like I said earlier, that it's a day when we appreciate and acknowledge each other, and also thank each other for the support, because I think this bond which women have with each other, the bond of support, is very important, and we crave it and we seek it, and it's a day when we appreciate it. So and at the same time, what Kanchan just read out, that is also reality. It's a reality which we cannot turn our attention away from.
exactly.
It's a reality which many of us still live with. And it's a reality which we have to try and see how we can help, change. We are running out of time, but Gunita, we have to listen to you, because you are such an inspiration, and you are doing such a fabulous job of training other dentists. Please tell us about your journey and also what you are doing to help other women become dentists.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Okay, so
Kanchan,
happy Women's
thanks
Day
very
to
much.
everyone. Happy Women's Day to everyone here. So as everybody's already said that every day is Women's Day, I strongly condemn the idea of having one day as Women's Day. Though as much I love to celebrate it because we are, given that importance and gifts and everything. But still, I would say that every day is Women's Day, and the women has to be celebrated every day. My introduction has already been given by Sanjana, and so I'll not waste a lot of time on that. I would start I would actually like to touch two topics today. One is the life of a women dentist, and the other I would like to say how I would like to help women today in our country. Um, Life of a woman and dentist is quite similar because our forte is to spread smiles, starting from our house in the morning when we get up and see our children, our husband, our in-laws. Then, when I go to the clinic for my patients, my absolute agenda of the day is to spread smiles. So I would say dentistry and womanhood goes side by side because मुस्कुराहटें ही बांटनी है, starting from morning
So
till evening.
beautiful. So well put, Kunita.
So
So well
I'm
put.
very happy with where I am. I just love my profession because of this reason. Definitely, I have to put a little less effort than others because as I really said, that the concern is the same, though the modus operandi is quite different. Ghar pe emotional and clinic mein technical, but the challenges, yes, as women, all of us have to face certain challenges when we step out in the world. And though there are lots of senior people around me, और मुझे अब थोड़ा सोच रही, पहले मुझे बड़ा I was very proud to say I'm practicing since 21 years, but अब मुझे लग रहा है कि there are people who've been in this from so many years. But 21 years back, when I would be in the clinic, people would just enter and say, "Doctor साहब कहाँ हैं?" मतलब मैं क्या हूँ यार? I am also standing here, but they would look for Doctor साहब, because Doctor साहब for them meant कि कोई आदमी होगा वहाँ पे, some man will be there, looking after them. And the funniest thing would be that nobody would let me remove their tooth, extraction. आप दांत निकाल लोगे? I mean, a women dentist removing a tooth was something which they just could not accept. So yes, there were challenges, but still I would say we are better dentists, technically also and emotionally also. If we talk of it technically, women have softer and smaller hands which work very well in the oral cavity, and emotionally we are much better listeners, we are better caregivers. So though I have a big support of my husband and he's sitting next to me, I owe a lot to him, but still I would say that women are better dentists. And coming to the certain things that I like to do, the charitable organization that we run in Vasant Vihar itself, this is the womanhood inside me which made me feel that I'm not going to say no to anybody. Anybody who enters my clinic will be given all kind of treatments. The ones who can afford, we have a setup in a 4x4 Vasant Vihar. The ones who can't afford, we have a parallel setup in F3x11. We have 10 dental chairs there where everything is done for free. Anybody who walks into me and tells me ki meri beti, though sad to say, but this is society, a part of our society, that meri beti ki shaadi nahi ho rahi because uske dant tede hain. So even things like braces, implants, everything is done for free for people who just can't afford. But you have to be deserving. If you really can't afford, so this is a womanhood inside me which made me feel that I am not going to say no to anyone. On yes, how I'm helping the women dentists around, I run a small academy by the name of the Academy of Dental Excellence, wherein I'm training all the women. I'm training all the dentists who are graduates and they need some extra training in terms of specializations. But fortunately or unfortunately, the major chunk of people, dentists who are joining me, are women who were forced to leave their practice after marriage or childbirth. it has been long gaps of 5 to 7 years that they've not gotten back to their practice because of these certain responsibilities, which are also very important, but not thankfully for them, they did not have a husband like Dr. Tanveer Singh standing next to them and supporting them always. So I run this academy where I train them. I make sure that they get their confidence back and they are back into profession soon. So that's one part of my work. Coming to a very small tip for all the women today, it makes me feel very sad that women health, as Padma ji very rightly said, हम सिर्फ वसंत विहार को देख रहे हैं. We are not looking beyond it. Women health today in India is miserable, and dental to is nowhere in the picture. I mean, dental का तो graph ही नहीं है. So women dental health today is a very, very big challenge. And I would like to request all my women colleagues and friends and everybody around that please, please get your dental checkups done regularly. A woman's life is a major roller coaster. We go through so many hormonal changes in our life at every phase of our life, starting from the puberty to pregnancy to menopausal. And as all of us have seen, our body swells when we are going through the hormonal changes. Other parts of body are, they get immediate attention. You're out for a party, your friend will tell you you're looking little big today, or you're swollen today, or when you go shopping, you would be fitting into a size larger. So that gets immediate attention. But what's about the soft tissue, the gums inside your teeth? You will never come to know that they have also swollen. So please go for checkups. Make a proper dental health regime. I'm not telling you, come to me, I'm going to do your surgery. No, we're not talking about that right now. Simple tips like some gum massages, some tongue cleaning, certain things which you can do for yourself at home. Give yourself some time. Come on, lady, you deserve it. We have patients walking into the clinic. A mother walks in with 2 children. पहले इनका कर लीजिए, मेरा बाद में देख लेंगे. Why can't the three of them just do it together? I'm not telling them to neglect their children, but why can't they just get it together? They should give themselves some priority. And in talking of the fancy women around us in this era of selfies, there is lots we can do with the cosmetics also, non-invasively, without doing anything unethical. Like a very simple thing, most of the women today are living on green tea and black coffee through the day and red wine in the evening. I'm also one of them. So
good to know that, Gunita.
So we love doing that. It's fine. But then we add on that extra stains on our teeth. So we have such beautiful, treatments which are completely safe, and we can get rid of those stains. And we can also have a little lifestyle change, like a second cup of green tea can be replaced by an apple. Do you know apple is a natural toothbrush? This is written in our books as well. If you eat an apple, it's like you're brushing your teeth. So you can replace your second green tea cup with an apple, or probably a strawberry, because it has a malic acid which whitens your teeth. So 2 little tips for my women friends. Can I talk more, Sanjana?
Yeah. Just a couple of minutes, since we can't cut you short. You're telling us interesting things. So
yeah. Okay. So what I would like to suggest and brief, that a woman goes through 4 stages of life. First, when she's a teenager, she definitely needs to visit a dentist, because that's the time when puberty onset happens and the gums are going through a lot of ups and downs. So a checkup is very important, and that's the stage where we might like to give them braces if required. So number 1. Number 2, the second stage in women's life is between 20 to 40, which is like a healthy stage. The teeth are generally very healthy at that time. And we can intervene and do little cosmetic treatments, because that is the age where your teeth will be able to take them. 50 plus is a very pre-menopausal and a menopausal stage. You definitely need help, girls. That's the time you must visit us, because when your gums get swollen, they form pockets around your teeth. So all the food that you eat, a little bit of that goes and embeds there, and that causes infections and dental caries. So if you start taking care of your gums nearly 40s, then you would not have this problem when you are 50 plus. And these little tips I can vouch. I don't say that you will have perfect teeth if you do these little tips at home yourself, but your teeth can get an extra 10 years by doing this. I think that's not bad.
Gunita, I think we will have a separate session with you because
Perfect, Sanjana.
We can't quickly listen to all these wonderful tips which you are sharing.
Yes, I have a lot to share. So
Yeah.
sometimes again, but it was such a pleasure sharing platform with such lovely people today. I wouldn't have got that opportunity when I would have done a personal session. So thank you, Sanjana.
Thank you, Gunita. Your tips are really well taken and really sort of jolt us into paying attention to the most neglected part of our body, so to say.
That's true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's true. I'm going to request Usha Gupta, who is a member of the society and a fellow lady member, to say thank you to all our guests. And Usha ji.
Thank you, Sanjana. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear you and see you.
Okay. Good evening, dear all. And I would say a woman is the one who is wonderful, outstanding, marvelous, and adorable, and nice to the situations she faces and comes out in flying colors.
I second that, Usha ji. Aapne ekdam sach bola. And
Thank
all
you.
the ladies here, I mean, all our speakers, thank you so much. It has been such a wonderful experience and inspiring as well, listening to your stories, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
On that, we wish you all a very happy Women's Day, and maybe next week we will celebrate Men's Day, like, since we complement each other, as Seema so well put it. So maybe next week we will have a few more men join our session.
Sanjana, you don't want a man's perspective at all about women?
Please, Raj, how can we not have that? Please, come on, give it to us.
I just want to say one thing. I mean, as far as I am concerned, women, I mean, one word, if I may say, awesome. And I really can't understand why men make these jokes about wives or women, etc. Personally, I am blessed to have Seema in my life, and all those who know me well know that I'm so fond of
women
in general.
But I think Raj, thank you for giving the males
just one second, Raj.
I think it is very important.
To back you up, I want to say, why do women always want to be equal to men? Absolutely. They are in some ways superior to men.
Yeah.
That they are
Padmaji, you've said it. Yeah. We are recording it.
But also,
Padmaji, we are just underplaying it.
But also,
everyone knows what's the reality. We just underplaying.
But I just want to tell Gunita, just to thank her for doing what she's doing for the underprivileged, because that is something that is really, I think, I can't, whether you can hear or not, but it's a real clap for you to do that, because that is sorely needed over here.
And Gunita, we are going to have you back.
Padmaji, we are all underprivileged. I have seen during the lockdown the variety of things that Seema has been doing at home, the multifaceted personality. I mean, I know that people talk about a woman being, multitasking. And at times I pride myself also in being a multitasker. But the kind of things that Seema did during this lockdown, when it was just the two of us in the house, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Chalo, he'll get a good dinner today.
I was refraining from using the word multitasking.
No,
this evening,
multifaceted
but
personality, multi-talented, you know, it's
but
not
I
multitasking.
agree with you, Raj, and thank you for being so generous with your compliment.
Yes, thank you.
And
Not generous,
and
the word is genuine.
thank
Genuine with
you,
my
thank you
compliments.
for your genuine compliment, gentleman Raj. Is that better? No. Thank you so much,
Sanjana,
and
for
you
organizing
actually
this.
you
Sanjana,
actually did bring
you
the
have to be
program
thanked for
together, because
organizing also
it's
and
important to
getting
have
all the right women over here, the right type of women with lot of variety. So thank you, Sanjana, for
Yes, thank
organizing.
you, Sanjana.
Thanks. Thanks a lot,
Thank you,
Sanjana.
all of you,
Good
and
night to everyone.
Thank you, Sanjana. Thank you
it's
so
been a pleasure
much.
Thank
to you all.
Thank you.
Happy, wish you all a
Women's
very
Day.
good
Yeah,
evening.
thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
See
you.
you next week. Please remember to tune in at 6:30. Take
Yeah,
care. Good night.
Okay, good
Good
night.
Bye.
night.
Good night.
Thanks,
Thank you,
dear all. Good
Sanjana.
night.
Good night.
Night.